Today I needed to make another box with a lid, and I decided I'd better video it and try and explain how I do it. I've laid those little stack of cards that are different sizes onto my scoreboard, and they are 4.5 inches wide and 6.5 inches long, and the depth of the box needs to be about an inch. So I just write down those measurements because they will tell me how big the base of my boxes needs to be. So they can be set aside. Now, to work out the size of the base of the box from those measurements, or the piece of paper that you need to make the base of the box to fit those cards, what we need to do is to double up the sides in both places. And I saw this idea on a Stampin' Up demonstration, and you simply write down 1 plus 1 plus 4.5 plus 1 plus 1, which gives you 8.5. Now for the length of the box, you have 1 plus 1 plus 6.5 plus 1 plus 1. And while you don't need to write that down, this can be just a very simplistic way for somebody who's not made them before to actually make sure that they include all of the measurements. I just add these up in my head. I'm showing you here to make the top of the box. If you want the bottom and the top to be the same depth in the lip of the box, then you just cut two pieces the same size. But if you want the box like this one and the little black and white one, with the sides of the top narrower than the side of the bottom, then you need to measure them twice. So you have a measurement for the base of the box and a measurement for the top of the box. And here I'm going to make the top of the box, the sides of the top of the box, 3/4 of an inch instead of an inch. So if you just write that out in longhand, because we've never made a box before and we need to really spell it out, it's 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 4.5 plus 3/4 plus 3/4, which is 7.5. And for the bottom it's the same, except that it's 6.5 in the middle. And that gives us 9.5. And that is the size of the piece of paper for the top of the box, 7.5 inches by 9.5. And there you can see I've cut them out. The larger one is for the base because it's got 1 inch sides, and the smaller piece is for the top of the box because it's got 3/4 inch sides. But to make the lid fit, we need to take a tiny slither off the base of the box, the piece of paper that we've cut. Cut it out first and then take the slither off afterwards, rather than try and do the maths. It's much quicker and easier and very straightforward and always works. Now I use fairly heavy cardstock, and I find that if I take a 1/16 of an inch off two sides that share a corner, so that's that side and there's the other side, if I just take a 1/16 of an inch off both, I'm going to get a really well fitting lid. If you take any more than that, the lid of your box could be very sloppy. It's just a slither. If you take any less than that, you won't get the lid of the box over the base. But once you've made a couple, you'll soon realise. Now, we're starting with the top here, and because the sides of the box lid are 3/4 of an inch, we simply score them at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. So we're scoring two lines 3/4 of an inch apart all the way round, and that's as easy as it gets. There they are. That's the top of the box all scored. Now for the bottom of the box, remember we're doing the sides of the bottom of the box at 1 inch, and so we score them at 1 inch and at 2 inch all the way round. And that's as hard as it gets, really. That's all the scoring we need to do. Now all we need to do is to trim out, and you can see where the score lines are, the 4 little squares in the corner, and we just need to trim those 3 external ones away, and that will leave the 2 sides plus a tiny tab right in the corner. Just need to trim that out, and we just need to shape in those, take a little slither off those and trim them out so that there's no overhang, and it just makes the box go together better. So I've mited it there, there, there and there. There's 4 little places where there's a little slither comes off. Now flick it round and then start on the next corner. I like to have a tab on each side. I used to always cut them so that the tabs on both sides of the box were attached to the short end of the box, but no longer. I find I get a sturdier result, and it's easier for me to cut out. I can cut these out in my sleep now, if I needed to, which I don't. So you just have the same cuts on each corner. You don't need to think about it. I trim up the score line. It's actually the score line that you're getting rid of to get rid of the bulk when you're actually doing the folding. When you're just cutting those slithers off, you're trimming off the score line. And don't make those little slithers too big. They don't need to be huge. It's just to make sure they fit comfortably when you're folding up the box. Just work your way around all 4 corners and get rid of the excess little boxes in the bottom corners. That's the base of the box done. Now we just repeat this with the top, and I'll turn it over so it doesn't blind you. It's got a bit of foiling on that piece of paper. And do whichever side it's easier for you to see. Speeded it up so you don't get too bored. It's just exactly the same process all the way around. These boxes are quite a joy to make. I make boxes for all sorts of things now that I wouldn't have bothered with before, because I know they're always going to fit. I can use up bits of paper. They don't have to be matching. You can find complementary pieces, bits left over from another project. I'd say even book pages work well. Just finger pressing these all up. You don't need to use your bone folder, but you can if you want to. Fold the 2 sides and the tab in, and then we put the adhesive on. Now the adhesive goes along the inside, on the top edge of each of the sides. If you put it on the top edge, it keeps it well away from the fold line, and then you turn the box over, the base over, and add some adhesive to the outside of the tabs on all 4 tabs. Again, not going over the score line. Repeat that on the inside for the long pieces. And the outside for the tabs. There we go, pressing those down and removing all the adhesive. Having a tab on each of the 4 sides makes it a lot quicker and easier to put together. You're not fighting the tabs on either side. You only have to fight one at a time, which is quite good. Make sure those corners go together as neatly and as closely as you can get them, and give them a good press down to maximize the adhesion. having a double-sided, the double sides on these little boxes means that the tabs get tucked away inside the folded side. You'll see that in a minute. So that really reinforces them. Now I really should have folded these sides back the other way before I put it together, but I'm just doing it now, as I forgot. Just fold them to the outside so that you can get at the adhesive, and it also helps them fold together a little bit more easily. Just pulling those all off. And folding them in. And I get the bone folder out now and just reinforce that top edge and make sure the adhesion is put in its place. See how quick and easy that is? I speed it up, I know, cutting the corners and things, and putting on the tape, but really 10 minutes you've got a box made. I'm remembering this time to fold the sides to the outside before I proceed. Sorry, I went off camera there, but it's just the same process. Popping your finger behind the corner tab and just pushing them into place nice and straight, matching up the corner lines. You can see the adhesion there is a little long. As long as it's not over the score line, it doesn't matter a scrap. It's going to be inside the sides of the box as we fold them in. So there you have it, a box with a lid. I just hope it fits after all this. But I can assure you it is absolutely fail-proof. Put the cards in, make sure they fit, and you can see how snugly they fit, and a little bit of wriggling on that corner, and there it is. The box is together, and it's a good firm fit. It won't come off with a shake, but having the different lengths on the lip of the box means that it's easy to grab hold of it and pull it apart. I've got some still photos here just of the box and its belly band. There you have it, the box open with the tag and the little belly band. There it is with it all in place, and just the belly band. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.